Hello, my name is Alyssa Bergfeld. I am a graduate student at Morningside College in Sioux City, Iowa. My presentation is entitled Increasing Phonemic Awareness and Phonics Skills in Elementary Students with Intellectual Disabilities. Elementary students with intellectual disabilities are not making adequate literacy progress. According to the Nation's Report Card 2017, both 4th and 8th graders were below basic in reading proficiency in 2017. Since 1998, the national 4th grade trend line has remained stagnant. Zygmunt, Clue, Hill, Madracho, Patera, and Davis 2013 found that a large number of 3rd and 4th grade students with disabilities are only proficient at the kindergarten level. The author of this study chose this topic due to the impact of low reading achievements on students. Flashman 2010 found that students with low reading achievement are less likely to be considered a friend to others. Zimmerman, Shute, Taskin, and Kohler 2013 found that if low achievement is also connected to problem behaviors. Multiple studies were reviewed in the development of this study. Lane and Pohl in 2015, Ripley in 2009, and Kane and Corker in 2017 all found that phonological processing and decoding are often found to be the underlying factor in troubles with reading troubles. Studies have also found that the impact of a multi-component literacy interventions. Broder, Alligrum, Dazell, Flowers, and Baker 2012 found that a multi-component early literacy curriculum produced significantly higher scores than the regular reading curriculum. Hill 2016 conducted a meta-analysis to determine effective trends in phonics interventions for increasing the literacy achievement of students with disabilities. Of the 11 studies he reviewed, explicit instruction was prevalent in 6 studies. The authors listed all conducted studies that found significant results from explicit phonemic awareness and phonics interventions. Each of these studies were 30 to 40 minutes in length. There is limited research on whether explicit instruction of these skills can be an effective approach in a shorter amount of time. The author of this paper conducted a study to determine the impact of a 10 to 15 minute explicit instruction intervention of these skills can result in higher achievement than the curriculum by itself. According to Wass and Golding 2014, in the zone of proximal development, students are able to learn more through scaffolding of adult support, which leads to gradually completing the skill independently. This theory supports explicit instruction. Allor, Matthias, Roberts, Cheatham, and Chaplin 2010 reviewed 8 educational studies and conducted studies of their own that support the ZPD theory. Explicit instruction was prevalent in 6 of these studies. The question was to be answered, what impact does explicit instruction direct teaching method have in improving K-4 students with more significant level 2 and 3 disabilities phonemic awareness skills? The purpose of this study will help open the doors to shorter explicit interventions. The school in which the study occurred in is a Midwestern rural town. 14% of the students receive free and reduced lunch, and 10% of the students are on IEPs. The participants were selected on the availability of students with this level of disability. 6 participants ages 5 through 9 were chosen. 5 of the participants have level 3 disabilities, 4 have Down syndrome, and 1 participant has Kabuki syndrome. The other participant had a level 2 cognitive disability. 4 of the students have behavior intervention plans. There were 3 males and 3 females. An A-B design was chosen due to the limited number of participants. The study lasted 12 weeks. In phase 1, students received their normal reading instruction through SOAP or a reading A to Z. In phase 2, the students received their 10 to 15 minute explicit instruction intervention on top of this. It was hypothesized that the explicit instruction phase would produce higher mean master percentages. The 3 of the students received reading through A to Z. This is a component where they look at online books and work on skills such as high-frequency words, phonemic awareness, phonics, running records for fluency, vocabularies, and comprehension skills with organizers. SOAP was the other curriculum used. The materials included letter cards, books with visuals, objects for manipulation, and visuals that align with the skills being taught. During the intervention phase, the students received skills from the press, scope, and sequence. Some of the materials include whiteboards, plastic mirrors, stretch toys, bingo cards, rhyme and word pattern cards, word slides, acronym boxes, and word tiles. The STAR assessment was given on an iPad Touch. The STAR Early Literacy assessment was used to assess the students' scores. These mastery percentages ranged from 0 to 100 and were computer calculated. According to the STAR reading assessment, since 2006, STAR has been claimed a reliable progress monitoring tool by the National Center on Student Progress Monitoring. To ensure validity, the assessment tool was designed with the core standards in mind, and validity ranges from 0.52 to 0.77. Therefore, this is moderate to high validity. 4 dependency tests were given to compare the baseline and intervention phases. The baseline phase started the week after school, and the students adapted to their new classrooms. The students took the baseline assessment for STAR Early Literacy, and they began the baseline phase that lasted 6 weeks. The students took the STAR assessment and began week 7 in the intervention phase. The intervention model followed these 6 steps: reviewing and checking previous work, presentation and modeling of new skill, guided practice of the new skill, corrective feedback, independent practice, and weekly and monthly reviews of the skills. The students started on the press, scope, and sequence and progressed as they met the 80% requirement. In the 12th week, the students took the STAR post-test. The results indicated that the students achieved higher mean mastery percentages for phonemic awareness in the intervention phase than the intervention phase in the baseline phase, but the standard deviation showed that the results had high variances. The p-value indicated that the data failed to reject the null hypothesis. This was not statistically significant between any of the phases. Both phases indicated a medium to large effect size and showed no significant differences among the data. You can see on the graphs that the students' variance in growth. Some of them grow more from the pre-test to baseline phase than they do from the baseline to the intervention phase. You can also see that there was higher overall for the means. There was higher growth from the pre-test to the baseline phase than there was from the baseline to intervention phase. Similar to the phonemic awareness results, the students achieved higher mean mastery percentages, but the standard deviations had high variances, and the p-value indicated that it rejected the null hypothesis. Both phases indicated a medium to large effect size and showed no significant differences among the scores. Similar to the phonemic awareness results, you can see that there is variance growth from the pre-test phase to the baseline phase and baseline phase to intervention phase. The mean differences from the pre-test and baseline assessments and the baseline assessments to intervention assessments indicated that the students demonstrated more growth during the baseline phase than the intervention phase for both skills. Overall, the findings did not support the predicted hypothesis that explicit phonemic awareness and phonics intervention would increase the STAR early literacy skills. The findings did not support the results of past studies that were 30 to 40 minutes in length. The following authors conducted similar studies of explicit instruction interventions and found that the treatment groups scored significantly higher. Lemon and Fuchs also found similar results as above, but found that the students in the intervention phase scored significantly higher. These past studies suggest that a longer intervention might be needed. The results do not support Lemon, Zigman, Clue, and Hill, Maracho, Patera, and Davis 2000s. They do support this author's results that the students, all 6 students scored in the 5th percentile of kindergarten results. This included all 3 third graders and all 3 kindergartners. The results did not entirely align with this theory. The data conveys that more learning did not occur in the intervention phase when the zone approximate development was the focus. It is suggested that educators continue to use explicit instruction interventions for 30 to 40 minutes until there is more research on shorter interventions. It is also suggested that more research be conducted on early literacy intervention for students with disabilities. Educators should consider different assessments for students with disabilities. All of the implications are made to maximize class time and student achievement. It is suggested that a 10 to 15 minute explicit intervention can increase student growth, but may not produce as much growth as a longer intervention. It is also suggested that students with intellectual disabilities be given more voice in their early literacy interventions, such as their preferences and interest in the interventions. Lastly, it is suggested that the zone proximal development theories or scaffolding is utilized to build the confidence of students with disabilities. There, 6 participants were the maximum number of students available for this study. It is suggested that further research be done with more participants. To collect the most effective and comparable data, the A-B design was the best fit for 6 participants. Having a control group and an experimental group would allow educators to compare more results of students for a longer time. Another limitation of the study was the length and timeline. Due to the length of the research course, the study was only 12 weeks long. It is recommended to conduct this study for longer periods of time. The 3 of the participants had behavior intervention plans. The author of the study recommends future researchers plan for intervention or assessment interruptions that may disrupt intervention time or assessment scores. Lastly, the format of the assessment may have influenced the results. The STAR Early Literacy is 34 questions long, and required audio comprehension. The author of this study suggests thorough research of the format of assessments used for educational research in the future. Research was conducted to determine if a 10 to 15 minute phonemic awareness and phonics instruction intervention would produce higher student achievement. The intervention did not increase the student scores. It did increase the student scores, but they exhibited more growth in the baseline phase. The results were unexpected of this study. Here are the references used in this presentation. Thank you.